Hey, what is going on, guys? This is DK back at you with another video here. It's regarding the 5-game Counter-Strike CSGO main slate on Friday, as well as the 2-game Oceanic slate that'll start in about 2 hours and 15 minutes. So if you guys are early to this video, you can get the breakdown for the Oceanic slate. Before we get into the video, if you guys are new to the channel, my name's DK. I make daily videos breaking down NBA, NFL, and eSports daily fantasy sports slates, eSports including Call of Duty, League of Legends, and CSGO, which is this one. So yeah, with that out of the way, now we can jump into it. Before we get into players and their prices for the Oceanic as well as the main slate, for Counter-Strike, what we can do is we can look back at my lineup here from Thursday's main slate. So this was the final lineup. I went with Hunter and the captain. I talked about him. He was really chalky, but he was just way too cheap. And he was basically the best play there for his price. He put up 127 in the captain spot. Really good. Again, he was just underpriced. I was feeling a breakout game. We got a breakout game from him. They got the 2-0 as well, which I kind of expected. Nexo was a little bit disappointing for his price. Armagnac was solid for value. I mentioned those fours guys, right? Those cheap options. Jerry was pretty good for his price. Face Crack, a little bit disappointing. But again, they also got the 2-0 sweep. And then Shiro, sure. I mean, that's a play I'm fine with. They ended up getting 2-0'd. But he still put up positive KD when they got 2-0'd, 38 and 37. If it would have went the other way, right? If Gambit Youngsters would have pulled off that win, we could have seen, again, in wins, he's putting up 90, 100 fantasy points. So that was a shot I was willing to take there. Didn't end up working out for me. So that's kind of the breakdown. We can look back also on my lineup from the late slate. Unfortunately, so I had the right idea here with the 3-man G2 stack as well as the 3-man North stack. It's just one of the players, hope he's okay, but got slate scratched due to an illness, so he didn't even play. He was 35% owned in this contest, so right away my day was over for the late slate. I was pretty excited about this lineup too. I thought I had some potential, but obviously with a 0 in my lineup, it's not going to do it. But a fellow viewer and a fellow DK actually ended up taking down the tournament. If you guys don't follow me on Twitter, it's important to do so. It's in the description below. It's just DK__DFS. I actually tweeted it out. He messaged me, and yeah, he won $2,000 in like a $15 entry, so just insane. Again, he went with Hunter in the captain spots, paired him with Kenny S and Jax, and then the 3-man North stack there with AZ, MSL, and Gade. So again, I had the right idea, I just didn't put the right pieces together, and unfortunately I landed on a 0, a guy not playing, but that's esports. I guess there's some risk sometimes with that. But yeah, really happy that he took this down. I'm really excited for him. He's been on a tear recently too, so a really nice guy. Again, I'm really excited and happy for him that he took down this tournament. So yeah, that's basically it for the look the look back here. Sorry. So let's take a look at some Vegas odds. First, we'll go over the Oceanic State again. This one, it's currently 7:20 p.m. Central. This one locks at 9:30 p.m. Central. So we got about 2 hours. Ground Zero and Order. Order are pretty big favorites here at -400. And then Renegades versus Chiefs Esports. Renegades, huge favorites. They're clearly the best team in this division, -950. Order, I believe, is the second best in the first game that they took Renegades to. It was a close game, but they did get out of 2-0'd. So, yeah, let's take a look at that slate really quick, and then we can get into the main slate. Not going to go over the Asian slate at 1 a.m. Just haven't had time to watch those games. So we'll just go over the Oceanic slate, which I got to watch a little bit here, as well as the main slate. So, basically, I'll just tell you guys straight up what I'm doing here. I'm going with the two favorites here. I think both win pretty easily with Renegades and with Order. So, Ground Zero and Chiefs Esports will probably be at both teams I'll be avoiding. If you want one player that would target in each team, if you want like a one-off and get like more contrarian 3-2-1 stack, something like that, Apu said, probably botched that pronunciation, but he would be the guy I'd look to. He's their offer. He's at 7.6K. I think he's decent. And then the other side, Burn Rock at 7.8K, I think is okay. But yeah, I don't think I get to either of those guys. Humongous as well, I guess. He had a really big day, but probably won't be going there. I'll probably be doing a stack of Order and a stack of Renegades. On the Renegade side, I mentioned Dexter, how I liked him a lot for the slate yesterday. He went off. It's actually not updated here, but he had, I think, like 150 in the captain spot. So I mentioned playing him in the captain spot. If you did that, you probably made out a pretty good profit. He was lower owned too, again, because of that recency bias, which I talked about. He had kind of an off game the first game, went back and had a huge game. So yeah, INS, Dexter, Sicko, and Malta are all guys I'm looking to. Hats is a guy, even for that price, I don't think I can get to him. He's just not a guy that has enough upside in my opinion. I don't think we have to go there. But these four guys with INS, Dexter, Sicko, and Malta, I like all three a good amount. If you can't get to the INS at the top, Dexter, Sicko, Malta stack is perfectly doable. Yeah, I really like this Renegades team. I think they win in 2-0. So that's where I'm looking at. I would probably get three of those four guys in my lineup. On the other side, on the order side, there's a lot to like here as well. I think they win in 2-0 fashion. Ali Star at the top at 9.4K. Or Stare, I think he's a really solid play. He's had two decent games, but he's the guy that has the most upside. He's their opper. I do like him a good amount if you can get to him. If not, Valiance, Ustello, I think are fine in the mid-range as well. Both those guys are pretty good last game. And I think Ricky and Jara are definitely viable for value options too. I think these are the two guys I look to if you need value, right, with Ricky and Jara. So that's probably the way that I would go. Again, if you want a one-off on the opposite sides, I think Burn Rook, I don't even know how to pronounce his name. He would be the guy I would look to, and then on the Chiefs eSports side, probably Apu Sid or Humongous. But yeah, personally, again, I think I'm going to go with that 3-3 stack with Renegades and Order. All right, so let's talk about the main slate now. Let me get to the right one. We got a lot of slates here. Yeah, so 5 games. We got another $12 10K to first tournament, and this one should be fun. So let's take a look at the Vegas odds for this one. Scroll down a little bit. So we have Espada versus Pro Esport. This one's interesting. Two not so good teams going up against each other. There could be some interesting plays there. Another one of those games I just think goes forgotten about. It's basically a pick'em, so there is definitely risk. Trying to guess which side is going to win, but that's a game I think you could get some low-owned dart throws. And then we have Navi versus Simon. Navi, huge favorites there, minus 2,500. Copenhagen Flames against FaZe Clan. FaZe Clan also really big favorites there, minus 700. We have Godset versus Mouse Esports. Again, Mouse Esports pretty big favorites there, minus 550. And one game is not up yet. I've looked at a couple sites. I've not seen it. It's this Virtus Pro versus Hard Legion game. Now, I haven't seen any betting odds, but the public, as well as myself, I'm pretty high in the Virtus Pro. If I had to guess, I would say they're probably minus 300 favorites, would just be my best guess. Again, the public thinks Virtus Pro also wins 82% of the time. So, yeah, let's talk about players on each side. And another thing, too, someone was mentioning in my DMs how I always only play one lineup. This might be a slate where I might try out making multiple lineups in that maybe that $1 20 max tournament just to see how it goes, because I think there's a lot of different ways you can go. There's a lot of spend ups I like. And yeah, maybe I'll mix and match. Well, maybe I'll try it out this one. So I'll let you know how that goes, guys. But yeah, first game here is this Hard Legions versus Virtus Pro team. Again, I think Virtus Pro wins this one. The Hard Legions guys are priced down. If I'm going to play one of these guys as a one-off low-owned dart throw, it probably would be Forrester at 6.6K. I think he's the guy that has the most upside. I've watched a little bit of this team. I think he is the most consistent, the guy that has the most upside. But honestly, probably a team I will be avoiding. On the Virtus Pro side, there's a good amount to like here. So James, again, I really like him that last slate. He went off. Now, again, for some reason it's not updated. Some teams, Draftkings updates, some they don't. He went for 90 fancy points in a really easy 2-0 sweep. I think his KD was like 41 and 13, just insane. He's their opper. Again, he's the guy that does have the most upside here in this Virtus Pro teams. I like him a good amount. I like Kurt as well at 8.6K. I think he goes a lot lower owned than Jane, but has just as much upside in my opinion. So if you want a pivot on the same team, you can definitely play Kurt. I think you can play both these guys if you want to go the Virtus Pro stack and hope that maybe this game goes 3 games. These are the two guys that are going to carry this roster. So I like both those guys a good amount. I think Jane will be more popular, but Kurt is a guy maybe gets forgotten about, but I think he has just as much upside. Buster for a little bit less at 7.8K. I think he's also been pretty consistent. Again, 79, 69, 71. I don't know what he put up that last game. I think he's okay, but I would just prefer getting to those guys at the top for a little bit more with James and Kurt. As far as Sanji and Adrian go, I think these guys are in play. Again, you're kind of hoping for the 2-0 sweep that I mentioned about. If you get that 2-0 sweep, you're going to get 20 extra points. So as long as they just have decent games, don't completely bomb, right? If they get like 30 fancy points and you get that plus 20, you'd probably be happy with like 50 to 60, somewhere in that range for those value options. So Sanji, Adrian, I think those guys are still in play. If you want to get, again, this is a slate where I think it's very, very top heavy. There's a lot of really good plays at top. So you're going to have to take some shots in these guys. Sanji and Adrian, again, I'm not super excited about those guys, but if you have to throw one in to get those guys to the top, I don't hate that idea. And you're kind of hoping for the 2-0 there if you're playing those guys. Next game here, we have Espada versus Pro. Again, this is a one where I think it just goes overlooked on the slate. So it's basically a pick'em. Espada are the slightest of favorites. They're at minus 120. So let's take a look at, I brought up both these rosters here on hltv.org. So if we're just looking at the Pro 100 side, let's go to them first. I think my two favorite plays here would be Yakander. He's the guy that has the most upside in this team, averaging 1.16 rating 2.0, 0.75 kills per round, 0.69 deaths per round. Him as well as Nickelback here at 1.07 rating 2.0, 0.68 kills per round, 0.65 deaths per round. Those are the two guys I would look to here. World Edits, I don't think I get to him. He's been decent, but I like Nickelback, I like Nickelback a little bit more for his price. So Yakander, Nickelback, again, these guys are going to be really low owned. If you can guess right on this side, you could see some upside plays here. They're just more risky. So on this side, on the Pro 100 side, it would be Yakander, it would be Nickelback would be the guys I would be looking to. On the other side, on the Espada side, let me go to them really quick. So we have Digester here at the top at 9.6K. He's priced up, but for good reason. If we're just going to scroll through these guys' stats, right, nothing super special. And then Digester there, or Digester, I don't know how to pronounce his name, a 1.18 rating 2.0, an insane 0.76 kills per round, only 0.6 deaths per round. So this is a guy that, if they can pull off this win, you could see a massive game from him. He's shown it recently, right, even against a really tough team against Navi, he still put up 65 fancy points. Against Simon and Hard Legion, 74-96. So yeah, he is a guy that I just don't think goes that high owned because, again, this game's almost a coin flip, so it could go either way. If they end up getting 2-0'd, you're probably not going to get a big game out of him. But if they can win this one, you could see him putting up 80, 90 fancy points. And I think for all the really expensive guys in the slate, he just goes overlooked. So again, this game is a game that you can look to for sure as more contrarian options. I just think these guys go overlooked. But you could see some big games here. So Digester there at the top at 9.6K. If you want to pair him with someone, I mean, Dima is only 4.8K. Now, we'll look at his stats. Nothing special, but a 1.04 rating 2.0 is not bad. Almost an even KD, right? 0.67 kills per round, 0.69 deaths per round. And he's under 5K. Again, you're going to have to take some shots at some cheap guys. If you want to go this direction, I don't mind it. So yeah, I would probably pair him with Digester there if that's the way you want to go. Again, this game though I think is more contrarian, low-owned options. Next game here we have Simon versus Navi. Navi are huge favorites. They're minus 2,500. Simon's a team I will be completely avoiding. No interest here on this side. On the Navi side, there's a lot to like here. So Simple's at the top at 10.4K. There's a lot of really good spend ups on this slate. So which ones are you going to prioritize? It's tough for sure. Simple is a guy that is one of the best, if not the best player right now in Counter-Strike. He's their AWPer. He has enormous upside. We're just looking at the game log, right? 106, 105. He can definitely get you in triple digits here. And this is a really easy matchup. So you would expect probably 2-0 as well. So yeah, Simple is a guy that I do like a good amount, but you're going to have to pay a premium for him. So can you fit him in? I don't know. You're going to have to take a shot on probably one or two cheap options that you're not over the top about, but these guys at the top, again, the VP guys I talked about, right, with James and Q-Kurt, we have Simple, we have the Mouse eSports guys, we have Nico and FaZe. There's a lot to like here at the very top, so I think it's definitely a stars and scrubs build for me on this slate. Simple's the guy I do like a good amount. Electronic, this is really interesting because he has just been not good at all recently. He is their second best player, but he's just not putting up decent numbers. He's been okay, right? For 7.2K, I think he's fine. And maybe a guy that goes a little bit overlooked just because of his bad play recently. But I have some interest just because I think the ownership is going to be pretty low. He's been high owned in the higher dollar tournaments a lot, and he's continued to let people down. So I think people might look elsewhere. Maybe this is the bounce back game for him against a really, really good matchup. So I do have some interest in Electronic. His price point for me makes it a little bit difficult because again, I'm kind of looking at that Stars and Scrubs build. But I'm certainly looking at him, and I think his ownership will be low on this one. The other value options I think are certainly in play. Now I think Flame Me is a guy that's going to be very popular after that huge game. They actually just updated it. Was that it? The 88 fantasy point game? Yes, that was it. So he put up 88. Yeah, he's not going to put up 88 every single game, right? But this is one they should win pretty easily. And he's actually flashed upside in 2 last 4 games, right? With 70 and 88 fantasy points. Again, I would not expect that. I think maybe the ownership is going to go up because people are just looking at that 88 fantasy point game, that last game. So maybe for me personally, I might look to Perfecto and Boomage. I think go a little bit lower owned because not as good of games recently, right? But I think these guys at a very similar price are fine as well. Boomage maybe a little bit more consistent. So, yeah, really there's not a whole lot of bad things to say about Navi. They should win this one 2-0 fashion. I like a lot here. You could definitely run a 3-man Navi stack, get 2 of those value guys, pair them with Simple, or maybe go with like a low-owned Electronic, pair them with Simple, and go 1 value there. I think that's certainly in play on this slate. Next game, we have Mouse eSports versus Godsent. Mouse eSports are, where are we at here? Minus 550 favorites, pretty big favorites here. I like this Mouse eSports side a lot. Now they've been a team that originally, when I first started playing Counter-Strike DFS, I was always right. Rops and Frozen were just doing great for me. And then this last week or so, I just have not been able to get them right. I played them about 3 or 4 straight times. They kept losing. They lost a really bad team, and I finally faded them the last game, and then Frozen went off. And it was a super tilt against G2, super tilting. But this is a spot for their prices. I like both Rops and Frozen a lot. Now, Rops is a guy that has been a little bit disappointing recently. I think that is going to lower his ownership. But just like Hunter on this last night. Now, sure, Hunter was really chalky, but I just like buying low on guys. Rops' price has dropped a lot. He was in the 9.5K range. He's 8.2K in a game they should win. Him and Frozen are arguably 1 and 2 on this team. They really do carry this team as far as kills-wise. And, yeah, his prices, you're getting him at a big discount off of some other guys, the top, like a Simple, like a Nico, right? So I like Rops a lot. I like Frozen a lot. I like this Mouse eSports team a lot. For their prices, right? 8.4 for Frozen, 8.2K for Rops. I like both sides a good amount. They should be able to win this one. Woxic, their Opper, is at a slight discount there at 7K. He maybe doesn't have as much upside as those two, as Rops and Frozen, but he still can put up big games, right? We've seen a 97 fantasy point game from him against Fnatic. So I have some interest in Woxic. I think he's kind of in that range of Electronic, right? I'm thinking the Stars and Scrubs approach. I think if you're just looking at the slate in general, a lot of other people will as well. So maybe those mid-tier guys, again, a guy like Electronic, a guy like Woxic, go pretty forgotten about. Maybe, again, that Espada Pro 100 game. That game's going to go low-owned. So if you're looking for some low-owned options, I think those guys in the mid-tier, again, I think that Espada Pro eSport game as well. Kerrigan and Chris J, I think, are in play for value. Kerrigan at 6K, Chris J at 5.6K, right? You're going to have to take some shots on 1 or 2 cheap guys if you want all those guys at the top. So do you want to go with the Navi guys and go like a 3-man Navi stack? Or you could go Mouse eSports, right? You could go Rops and Frozen and pair them with one of those cheap options. Or again, you don't have to go 3-man stack. You can play 2 or something like that. So I think those guys are definitely viable, Chris J and Kerrigan for value. Right, you're gonna have to take a shot on 1 or 2 of these really cheap options. On the Godsent side, this is a team I'm not very high on. I think there's a slight chance I can pull off the upside just because Mouse eSports has been good recently. If we're looking at players, their prices, I think Madden at 7.2 going to be my favorite, followed by Makalele. But honestly, a team I will personally probably be avoiding. But those would be the two guys I would look to if you want to go risky, low-owned, and hope for the upside. Again, Mouse eSports has been a team that they have been struggling besides that last game against G2. Lastly, we have FaZe versus Copenhagen Flames. The FaZe team is pretty big favorites as well. Where are we at? Minus 700. So there's some big favorites here. Nico at the top at 9.2K. I really like him. Again, I'm kind of buying low because he hasn't been good recently. 63, 70, 36, and 66 fantasy points the last 4 games. But before that, we've seen him get 90, 100, right? And these are against good teams, right? G2, VP, OG, 86, 81. He put up 112 against Navi. So we know the upside is there, and you're getting about over $1,000 discount off of Simple if you don't want to go Simple and save a little bit of money on Nico. So Nico's a guy I like a lot here. Again, because of recent performances, price has dropped a little, but I do like buying low on guys. I really like Nico if you can get to him. As far as the other options here on FaZe, Brokey, Coldzera, and Rain. So these guys are all priced pretty similarly. All three have flash upside in this FaZe team, right? It's kind of a hard team to predict. Normally, I go with the guy that's the lowest price, which would be Rain here. I think he's okay. Brokey's at 8K. I mean, he's been in good form recently. 76, 85, 64, 78 fantasy points. He's their opper. Again, this is a game they should win. I think Brokey would be my next favorite play, even though he is the most expensive of those 3 guys. I have addition Olafmeister as well at 6K. Now, his price is slowly getting up there as well. But just looking at recent games, right? 55, 51, 58, 54 is his role. He even mentioned it. Has changed a little bit. He's felt more comfortable. So I think he as well as those cheap Virtus Pro guys, right? As well as those cheap Navi guys, as well as those cheap Mouse eSports guys. You're going to have to take a shot at 1 or 2 of those guys. Those would be the guys I'd look to if you're looking for value. And then the Copenhagen Flames side, again, probably a team I will be avoiding. The one guy I would consider as like a one-off is Farley. He is the guy that has the most upside by far. He's the guy that carries this team as far as in the kill department. We've seen 80, 90 fantasy point upside from him. So, yeah, he would be the one guy I would look to as a one-off scenario here if you want to take a shot. 8K is an appealing price tag. I think he's just a low dart throw, though, in my opinion. So that basically wraps it up. Again, there's a lot to like here. If we're just like game by game, right? So the VP side, I do like a good amount there with James, Q Kurt, and the cheap options. If you want to take a shot on one of those guys, you're kind of hoping for the 2-0, but don't mind that. This is Spada Pro 100. This is a game that I just think goes forgotten about because it's almost a coin flip. These players maybe not as well known, but I mentioned the players I like here, right? On the Spada side, Digester, Dima for value. On the Pro 100 side, Bubby, Kander, Nickelback if you're looking there. So, yeah, those guys are going to be super low on. I can guarantee you that, but there is upside in this game for sure. Simon Gaming will be a team I'll be completely avoiding. The Navi side, there's not a lot to dislike about this team. Simple at the top, if you can get to him, love him. I think he has huge upside. You're going to have to pay premium. He's the highest priced player in this team. Electronic, I think he goes very low owned, as well as a guy like Woxic on the Mouse eSports side. If you're looking for like a mid-tier, more contrarian lineup, those 2 guys I think do have upside in a game they should win pretty easily. And then the value options, right? Boomage, Perfecto, Flamey. Flamey, I think after the last big game will be higher owned. But maybe, because of that, I might look to Boomage and Perfecto as a pivot. And then the Mouse eSports side, a lot to like here. Again, Rops has been struggling recently, but I like buying low on guys when their prices are falling. He's a guy just like Hunter, he should not be this cheap. So I like Rops a lot. I like Frozen a lot. Walks, again, I think he goes a little bit lower owned. He's their opper, but he's a guy that does have upside as well. And then Kerrigan and Chris J for value, right? If you want to go there, I think those guys are fine. You're really hoping for the 2-0 there if you're targeting those value options. The Godsend side, again, not a whole lot I'm liking here. I'll probably be avoiding if I was going to play someone on this side. It'd be Madden, Makalele, but I'm probably not going to go that direction. The FaZe side, we have Nico at the top. I like him a lot for his price. I think probably prefer him to Simple just because of the price tag, right? 9.2, I think that's really cheap. His price is slowly falling, right? I like buying low on these guys. We've seen 90, 100 fantasy point games from Nico, so I like him a good amount. Brokey in the next mid-tier with him, Coldzera, Rain. It's close to all 3 of those guys. We've seen a lot of upside. It's kind of hard to predict which one's going to go off on a night-to-night basis. But Brokey, the opper, I think he has the most upside consistently, so I would probably look there next, followed by Olaf Meister for value, whose role's changed a bit, and he has looked decent recent games. On the Copenhagen Flames side, Farlig would be the one-off if you want to get really risky. He's the guy that carries his team in the kill department, and he's going to be really low on probably about 5% or so. And yeah, like I said, I mentioned I'm going to make 20 lineups. I think I'm going to do that. I'll enter 20 lineups in the $1 probably 20 max tournament, and we'll see how it goes. I always am a one lineup guy, but I'm interested to see how it goes in that tournament. And I'll still enter, probably the $33 tournament as well with one lineup. But yeah, I think that is going to do it for today's video, guys. So if you have been enjoying the content so far, I would really appreciate if you guys like this video, subscribe if you haven't already. Again, if you guys enjoy it, recommend it to friends, whatever. That would really help me out to really, again, continue to put out this free content. We have Call of Duty Slate tomorrow. Guys, I will have a video up for that later tonight. Be on the lookout. I'm super, super excited. Finishing up my spreadsheet right now. But yeah, really, really excited for that one. So be on the lookout for that. But thanks again for everyone coming to check out the video. I really do appreciate it. I hope you guys are all staying safe and healthy. And I will see you guys all in the next video, which will be Call of Duty right after this.